Ever since COVID happened, I've really wondered whether swimming is where life wants to take me. Hey everybody, welcome back. Before I tell you my story, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. A lot has happened since the beginning of 2020. COVID, my pool being destroyed in a hurricane, Auburn's swim coach being let go, and losing a lot of time and muscles from not being in the pool for so long. I haven't made any official decisions yet, but my thought have been since a few months ago that all the things I've worked for, that dream of being in the Paralympics and thinking that I would go to the Paralympics in 2028, and all of the time I've spent into swimming and just these goals I've had the feeling that maybe that's not it. And that dream, that working so hard and putting my all into everything and sacrificing so much so that I could get better at swimming, all of that has just died and basically been for nothing. In June of this year, I went to a parasport competition in Atlanta where they had a tennis clinic. And I went and I was like, it's free, whatever. And after the clinic, I was put in contact with Evan Onquist from the University of Alabama, got to work with him, got a loaner sport chair while I apply for grants for my own chair. And I've even worked with a tennis professional over the summer. Now I've gotten in contact with Rob Taylor from Auburn, the wheelchair basketball and wheelchair tennis coach, who just came back from Tokyo with the US Paralympic wheelchair basketball team, which is really cool. I'm the first woman on the team, which also, that's amazing. And I'm also the newest player, and my coach called me the best player on the team this past weekend, and I said, the best? Are you sure? I'm the best girl, maybe. This past weekend, I participated in my first ever wheelchair tennis match. Auburn's team participated along with a few players from Dream Court in Montgomery. I played 2 matches, lost both of them, but I still had fun anyway. The rules for wheelchair tennis are pretty much the same as regular tennis, except for one thing. Wheelchair players have 2 bounces to hit the ball, although only the first bounce has to be in bounds. I had a hard time getting the rules down in the beginning because I've never played tennis before, unless you count Wii Tennis, and I haven't watched enough tennis like on TV or on YouTube to be familiar with the rules, but eventually I got it down. I didn't score a ton on my own in the first half of my first match. I only scored because my opponent had less consistent serves than I did, and I gained some points in the beginning purely because he messed up both of his serves. Eventually, I got more comfortable with the rules and got a feel for the flow of the match. I got more confident and I began to hit better. I volleyed and returned more balls, and in the second set, I won my first game, and it was awesome. It was the coolest shot ever, and I was so proud. I didn't win either of my matches, or any sets for that matter. But at the time when my second match started, my arm and hand were sore and tired, and I was not playing well at all. Like, after my opponent would score some points, I would look over at my mom and my coach and just be like, because I was not playing well at all. And the team trainer checked me out and told me to ice my arm. But I enjoyed it, and I'm so excited for any more tournaments I go to. And actually, it's this coming weekend when I'm filming it. But once this video comes out, it will be the weekend before. And I'll do some video once I actually go, because I haven't left yet. I leave tomorrow when I'm filming this. I'm so excited. I'm hoping to film going into Tuscaloosa because I'm going to the University of Alabama for this tournament, and you better believe everything I'm wearing is going to be Auburn. Socks, hat, shoes if I can, shirt, like everything I'm wearing is going to be Auburn. So we are on our way back from Tuscaloosa right now. I played 3 singles matches. One of them technically didn't count because there's only one set and it was just for fun. then I played one doubles match. I was supposed to play two, and the second one was supposed to be this afternoon, but it got canceled because one of the 4 players couldn't be there, and so it just didn't happen. So my first singles match was against a woman from Houston, and we were about the same level. We'd both been playing for about 4 months, but I had more consistent serves than she did, and I won by that alone. Was that either she messed up her serves and I got points, or she wasn't able to return my serves, and so I won by that alone. Won both sets 6-2, 6-2, right? Yeah. And that happened, and then that day I had a doubles match. I had never played doubles before. I had to ask Evan from the University of Alabama how to play doubles, because I had no idea. And my partner was super awesome. He was very sweet, but I got nervous before I played because everybody was like, oh yeah, he's really sweet, but he has a really thick Chinese accent. And I was like, oh no. I was able to understand him fine, but I got really nervous beforehand because I was like, what if I don't understand this dude? And I was just freaking out about it. And so that doubles game we lost, but we won the first set, lost the second one, and then lost the tiebreaker. And it was pretty close throughout the whole game, so I was pretty proud of that. I thought we did well. And then yesterday I had my second singles match. That was crazy because I didn't think I would win.
Pretty good.
You are.
Better than I thought I would.
And I won, and it was a close game, and it was intense, and it was, what, 2.5 hours?
It was pretty long, yeah.
It was really long. And he had pretty good serves, but I had figured out early on kind of a pattern that he had. And then as we kept playing, he adjusted it because he had figured out kind of what my weak points were. And then I adjusted again because I figured out what he was doing. So the first set I won. It was 6-4 games. And then second set, I was down 1-4, got up to 5-5, and we had to go to 7-5 in order for me to win. But I did win, which meant that I was the national champion in my division, so that was exciting. It was a little crazy, like, is this actually happening? And I've told my coach about it, and he's super excited. He's told the guys on the team. They sounded a little shocked, according to how he retold it. Not even 100% sure it actually happened. I may just be dreaming it. And that was a really good tournament. I'm glad I went to the one last weekend, because if I hadn't, it would have been really overwhelming. So even though I'm an Auburn person, I can't admire how well the tournament was put on. They really do put a lot of effort into their wheelchair tennis program, and that's something that I was really impressed with, and it made me feel welcome, and I really enjoyed it. And they had all these things if you were new, like there was this one official that I loved named Red Rover, and she was great. Everybody loved her, and it was just really fun, and how everything was planned was perfect. It was amazing, so well put on. Like, I would go again in a heartbeat without even thinking about it. Also this weekend, How I Roll Sports that was at the tournament was incredibly helpful. I had a bunch of issues with my chair because like it didn't fit me right and I couldn't pick balls up off the ground. And Jacob, who worked with How I Roll Sports and was representing them, basically at one point took my chair apart and put it back together and worked on it for a long time to make sure it fit me right and adjusted it and did all these things to it. And they basically had equipment for everybody. They had like all these tools, they had extra pumps, and they were just awesome. And I'm incredibly thankful that they were there and that Jacob was there and they could help me with my chair this weekend. Even though I'm new to the sport, I'm looking forward to getting stronger, getting more accustomed to my chair, and becoming a better player in the future. I'm enjoying tennis here at Auburn, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity. I can't wait for what comes next, but hopefully what comes next is nationals with the Auburn team. This video was made possible by my patrons on Patreon: Timothy Cortamachi, Katie Little, Robert DeBoer, the Ginn family, and Terry Sentner. Please, if you're feeling generous, join my Patreon at patreon.com/awhile. patreon.com/SarahKateSly. And even if you can't donate, it really helps me out when you like, share, comment, subscribe, all the things. And remember, Patreon, you get to directly interact with me, and often I pull ideas from what my patrons tell me because they ask me questions and I'm like, oh, that would make a really cool video. I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.